If you're really lacking some pace or you are a beginner and you want to get fast in Assetto Corsa Competizione, you open up the YouTube or the Google, you type in track guide, you watch the track guide, you see somebody driving, boom, 215 on Spa, you go sit in a car trying to apply all the tips and you're driving at 224. What's the problem here? The biggest problem is you seeing someone who is really experienced and has maybe a lot of talent and put in the massive hours in this game and in this sim to get actually to this level, and here you are trying to replicate it. Now, does that mean they're completely useless? Absolutely not. They're great. Somebody took a lot of time to make the track guides, show you all the pain points, but you only have to change one thing to apply it to your driving style. Take all the advice from the track guides and hit the brakes earlier. And I'm talking about, like, normally if you would say like 100 meter sign is your braking point, you're gonna go 150 meters and you're not gonna brake fully. But what I want you to focus on is to get in that proper gear that is the lap guide is advising to you, and try to get that speed in that first corner. So pause the video, look, let's say it's 70 kilometers, you go 65 and you go sit on that perfect racing line. Now, maybe does that feel that you have a little bit of margin? Great, because being a little bit more relaxed in these track guides and trying to drive this track, then you can actually find some more pace. But if you're overshooting every corner, you're just gonna lose massive lap time and you will be 5-6 seconds behind comparing to a guide like that. Now, I'm gonna show you what I mean. Yeah, we're gonna brake early. And we're gonna hit that apex. Over here as well, this is a perfect racing line. Smoothness in the racing line. Another part here. Sticking to this apex. And over here as well. On that small clip, did you notice something? I only braked once, I'm steering to the corner once, I hit the accelerator gently, and as soon as my steering wheel is dead center, I'm allowed to go full throttle. And these are kind of the basics you want to get down and hammered in as much as possible, because that will give you such a great foundation on all the tracks. Now, all of this just won't work if you're not doing the next thing properly. So we need to start thinking about how do we get as fast as possible. So we're braking a little bit early, we're losing lap time because we brake early, but we are on the proper racing line, we're hitting the apex, and that is the guys that are most on the throttle will have the most speed. It's a bit obvious, of course, but being mid-corner, if you can increase just like 10% of throttle in a corner, yeah? So you made your braking point, you hit the apex. Now, if you can increase the throttle for like 3-4 kilometers, maybe even less, 2 or 3 kilometers only. This means those 2-3 kilometers you will carry out of the corner and on the straight that follows. The most extreme example is Spa turn 1. If you just pick up a little bit more speed when you're in that apex and you can little bit increase the throttle, then that speed you will carry all the way up to that next corner you need to brake again. Important to note, don't understeer out of that corner, because then you did it too much. You need to do this ever so slightly. I'm gonna show you a corner on Watkins Glen, what can really help you to nail that exit right, applying a little bit of throttle. Now, if you're liking this video and this content, please hit that like button, guys. That really helps me out and it motivates to make more videos like this one, and also consider subscribing. Now, let's say if we get this video up to 250 likes, I will start making a video about how to take curbs and changing the setup so curbs will be really easy to digest. Again, a brake a bit early here. So that's overshooting. That's doing it too much. Now we're gonna do it a lot better. Look how I'm applying the throttle here. And look at that delta. Now that was the last sector on Watkins Glen turn 9, which is for me still one of the most difficult corners to get right, but it shows a good example how halfway throttle in this case can help you out so much by braking a little bit earlier and applying the throttle easily, and when you're really sure you can hit it, floor it, then you hit the throttle. Now there will be situations where we don't want to be lazy on the throttle, and that is the next example.
You're locking your fronts going into turn 14.
So here you can see mid in the chicane, hitting it a little bit, and then boom, flooring it. You will be into the situation that you held the steering wheel straight, then you can floor it. Now this is very skill based, and it's also traction control like and setup. Don't get me started on setups, but if you are getting better at this sim, you will use that to rotate the car out of the corner, and you'll just carry that extra speed. Now all these things are so freaking subtle, but if you add them all together, there will be a massive lap time. But then again, we need to be on that racing line to apply it. Now there is another problem that I faced in my sim racing journey, what was hurting me really hard. When I was driving, it was a race on Suzuka, I was really pushing, but when I got up into the splits on LFM, I got into the situation that the split 2 and split 1 kind of drivers, they would be on the straight just that little bit faster than me, and I was like changing the setup, changing ride heights, wing angles, and I was constantly thinking, bruh, I need to have more top speed, and I was searching and the setups, and it just didn't work. And then I don't know, there was like a golden moment that I decided to change what my pedal inputs actually were showing, and it was on 99%. So this is something you want to look at as well if you want to increase lap times, because 99% is so subtle you will not see it. Maybe in your telemetry or whatever, and then you just go to your setup, control setup screen, and just actually floor it, and or make some adjustments in your pedal so you have like a dead zone of 5%, so you will never ever get in this situation. And this applies for braking as well. Yeah, if you're only braking 99%, maybe at some point you will need that extra 1%. Now obviously, if you practiced a few days or a few hours like this and you get a feel for a certain track, obviously we need to find that perfect braking point again, because if you keep doing it like this, you will get in the same trouble as I did. I'm still like braking early sometimes, and especially when you get into duels and fights with other cars, this is hurting you a lot. I think it's the most difficult skill in sim racing is the braking. Basically what I'm saying, you want to a little bit skip this and get that basics first, yeah? You don't hop in the skateboard and start going in the half bike doing a melon 180. You're going to like probably be standing on it first, be happy that you don't fall, and after a few hundred hours of practice, then that absolute best thrill braking can occur. If you are plateauing and you really feel, I am on the racing line, mate, I'm doing all the things you say, what can I do to decrease my lap time? And that is in the setups. And I will show you my preset that I use, and I will show you how maybe a more advanced setup can look like for you. And this is just like how I'm thinking about it. Let's get into it. If you're plateauing, let's say you use this setup, yeah, for Spa. And this is a preset for every track. So use it on every track. Maybe increase this a little bit, yeah? If you're plateauing, you're understeering out of the corner, you're understeering into the corner, and this is all very good and well if you're a beginner, and maybe you're a little tiny, you get a feel for it, you know? Now, I'm going to show you how my setup would look like. I'm pretty advanced, 2000 ELO-ish on LFM. There are people that are way faster, but I really feel like I'm a little bit advanced, yeah. So where I would want to go is I want to, like, step by step increasing that rear ride height when you're driving and decreasing the brake bias with it. Now, do this in small incremental steps so you don't, it doesn't feel like you're in a completely different car the next time you go on track, yeah? And what is also kind of helping you is increasing this value. This means that the car wheels will be a little bit facing outward on the rear, which helps rotation. Now, the absolute faster drivers will push this higher and higher and higher and will get lesser brake bias. This will just mean the car will get pointier and pointier and pointier, and you need to be more careful and more sensible on how you turn into the corner, how you're using the brakes, and also for the traction control. You know, if you can really start to get a feel for your throttle, you can decrease this value and you can use this traction control to rotate the car out of corners. You know what I said earlier in the video, get on that throttle slightly earlier, rotate the car better out of the corner, and this is just adding up and it should be taken in small steps if you want to increase. So if you are plateauing, increase the ride height, lower the brake bias, and the toe values. Now do this like in small steps. So if we're starting on 0, this one should be, let's say, on 1.2. If this one was in the middle, lower it a little bit. Ride height as well, try to increase it 3-4 millimeters first. See how that feels. Don't get extreme immediately because it will just disencourage you. You will start making mistakes. You will oversteer out of corners. It's no good. You want to have control and you want to stick on that racing line. Again, first priority, yeah, racing line. Now, obviously, there are a million things we can talk about, and there is probably a lot of stuff I left out. Maybe you can leave that in the comments below, what I missed, because I'm not perfect and I don't even gonna pretend to be like a driver coach, but this is what's really helped me out. Now, there is still one problem. Having a decent preset for every car in this game. You want to watch this video next because I designed the perfect preset for every car in ACC.